organization, the Heritage Foundation, loves Texas. Ooh, they love Texas. They always sending us some nonsense bills that somehow set this country on the wrong trajectory. They send them to Texas. They send them to Florida. Every deplorable state that we can think about, they usually coming out of y'all's think tank. But nevertheless, when we talk about protecting women, what we've seen is, say, in the state of Ohio was one of the most recent states when their lawmakers didn't have the courage to do what they needed to do because, of course, we believe in gerrymandering. And because we believe in gerrymandering in this...
Point of order.
I moved to strike her word.
I moved to strike her words, deplorable states.
That's not a point of order. Let the gentlelady proceed.
The committee will suspend. Whoa, 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 whoa. The committee will suspend. Just hold, slow.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about this amazing moment that happened in Congress when hero Riley Gaines nuked a Democrat into orbit after the woke Democrat tried to accuse Miss Riley Gaines of transphobia and bigotry because Miss Riley Gaines is simply defending women's rights in sports. Now, again, this hearing was on the participation of trans athletes in sports, aka Democrats arguing that biological males should be able to compete against biological females in sports, while you have, reasonable people saying, no, this doesn't make sense. It's unfair for biological females. Kids should compete based off their biological sex. Okay, so with that being said, of course, because Democrats have a weak argument, they have no real argument. They want to cry transphobia and bigotry over people defending women's rights in sports. And again, Riley Gaines had the perfect response to woke Democrat Summer Lee, again, who was trying to cry bigotry. But before we get into it, I want to let you guys know, with all the uncertainty going on in the world, people are moving into assets that help them sleep better at night, like gold. And gold prices are at an all-time high. Gold has never been this expensive, and this is why the sponsor of this video is Noble Gold. Just when you thought it was safe and interest rates were rising, new threats are coming out of nowhere. Tensions are boiling from Asia to Europe, and adaptation is the key to securing your wealth. You may not have considered gold before. It's not speculation, but insurance. And right now, you need some insurance. Noble Gold Investments has been protecting investors from disaster for years with precious metals. So if you're worried, it might be time to take a fresh look at gold and silver. Gold is a proven shield for your portfolio and a volatility balance against uncertainty. If it helps, Noble Gold Investments is offering a free 3-ounce silver American Virtue coin with its new IRAs this month. If you open your Noble Gold Investments IRA or roll over your 401k, you can claim your coin today. Remember, crisis brews, portfolios waver, and gold insulates. Secure yourself against threats today. Go to noblegoldinvestments.com. That is noblegoldinvestments.com, the only gold company I trust. And just remember, there's a risk with every investment, and there's no guarantee of any kind.
It's disappointing to me that although the title of this hearing implies a much needed discussion, we're likely going to be forced to listen to transphobic bigotry.
A few moments later.
Inclusion cannot be prioritized over safety and fairness. And Ranking Member Lee, if my testimony makes me transphobic, then I believe your opening monologue makes you a misogynist. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gaines. I now recognize Ms. Perry for her opening statements.
Good afternoon, Chairman McLean, Ranking Member Lee, and distinguished members of the subcommittee. My name is Sarah Parshall Perry. I am a senior legal fellow at the Heritage Foundation. As a former varsity athlete, the mother of a girls varsity athlete, and former senior counsel for civil rights at the Department of Education, I have, as the saying goes...
Madam Chair, excuse me, I move to have the gentlewoman's words taken down.
The committee will suspend.
Madam Chair, she's engaging in personalities.
Can I just ask how it's fair to be called transphobic?
There's a
Thing.
I would say men disguising themselves as women are engaging in personalities.
Order.
Yeah. Hang on. Order. Let's get a ruling. The chair.
Okay, I move to withdraw the point of order.
Thank you, Ms. Lee. I now recognize Ms. Perry for her opening statement. We can start over. Thank you.
Chairwoman McClain, Ranking Member Lee.
Yeah, so you see that, you heard that, okay? As you can see there, Riley Gaines got under that woke Democrat skin, okay? Because this woke Democrat cried transphobia and bigotry. I mean, verbatim said, I expect to hear a lot of transphobia and bigotry here, okay? So she's essentially calling women who have competed against, biological males in sports transphobic and bigots for simply saying, hey, it's not fair, right? It's not fair for me as a biological woman to have to compete against a biological male. Now, instead of engaging in the argument in a way that is good faith, no. When you don't have an argument, the first thing you do is cry hate and bigotry. And she didn't like the fact that that card was flipped back on her, right? It was the reverse Uno card that Riley Gaines played when she called this Democrat a misogynist, right? You're a misogynist, okay? Since you want to say I'm a transphobic bigot, then you are a misogynist for defending biological males being able to play against women in sports, aka you are against biological women's rights. And she was 100% correct to play that card, because that's how you got to fight these Democrats, right? You fight fire with fire. If they want to accuse you of being bigot, all right, well, you're a bigot, right? You're a bigot. Okay, I'm a transphobe. Okay, well, you're a misogynist then. Okay, you must hate women. That's how you do it. And you can tell it got under her skin because she wasn't expecting it, right? She wasn't expecting it. Okay, she was not expecting to have the bigot card pull back on her. Okay, but again, these are the same people, right, who believe that biological females who have to compete unfairly, well, they should just lose with grace. Take a look.
And success in school sports depends on a whole range of factors, including how hard you work and coaching and access to really good resources and facilities. And trans students participate in sports for the same reason as their kids, because it is fun, because it creates belonging and community, because it teaches so much about persistence and leadership and discipline, unless they learn to lose gracefully, hopefully. And often they learn to win with dignity, hopefully. They learn to do the sort of work that means you have higher grades and stay connected to school. I want every kid to have that chance, to have the chance to play.
Yeah, so you see that, you heard that. Now, again, I just love how disingenuous Democrats are when it comes to this argument, okay? They want to make it seem like Republicans are trying to ban trans girls or trans athletes from sports, when it's just simply not the case. They're saying, look, compete based off your biological sex. Again, this is what they do, okay? They lie, they misrepresent your arguments, they strawman your arguments, and then they also call you hateful and bigoted for disagreeing with their non-arguments, because they don't have any arguments, okay? And it's just really kind of a shame that we're even wasting taxpayer dollars on a hearing for a situation that's not that complex, right? It's not a complex problem. It's a problem that's easily solvable, okay, by just using some common sense and logic and reasoning, okay, in order to have kids compete in sports fairly. And I think most people in that room know this. And at some point, when you have to continue to defend what is a common sense position, something that everybody should, agree with in a sane and normal society, at some point, some people just have enough of it, right? Like, for example, Republican Representative Lisa McClain from Michigan, who basically went off over the fact that they're even having to have this conversation about protecting women's sports in the first place. Take a look.
The anti-trans sports bills being signed into law across the country seek to create a problem that just doesn't exist, all for the sake of perpetuating hate against vulnerable groups. This isn't about preserving competition in sports. It's a way to mobilize would-be voters by turning trans rights into a political football. I encourage the Department of Education to prioritize finalizing this proposed revision to protect our transgender youth. And I encourage my Republican colleagues to stop picking on kids. I yield back.
Thank you, Ms. Lee. Whatever happened to I am woman, hear me roar? What have we lost our minds? I sat here and listened to every label imaginable. I am here to protect women, girls. My God, why do I have to apologize for that? We spent decades trying to protect women. And you know what? We won. We won. So I will not apologize now or ever for trying to protect my daughters and women in sports. And that's what this hearing was about. Protecting women. So you know what? I am a woman, and let me tell you, hear me roar, because I will not stop protecting women. You want to know why? Because we have rights too. Women have rights too. And our daughters have rights too. Let me be explicitly clear on that. And I will never stop protecting our daughters. I will never stop protecting women. That is my job as a mother, and it is the right thing to do. This hearing today has been extremely informative and heartbreaking. Frankly, I am mystified by the Biden administration's shameless failures to protect women's rights. We talk about protecting women's rights like that's such a bad thing, that's so evil to protect women's rights. Have we lost our mind? The administration's proposed Title IX rule will rewind decades of progress in women's rights. The Biden administration is weakening Title IX by allowing all males who identify as women to participate in women's sports. Okay, identify as women. How about just be a woman? Why can't I protect my women? Why can't I protect my daughters? Title IX was implemented by Congress to give women equal educational opportunities, including within federally funded school athletic programs. No, we're not there. Do we have a lot of work to do? You're doggone right we do. But if this language gets in by the Biden administration, it will definitely not help women. I can assure you that.
No, it's not. It's actually going to be extremely regressive towards women. But is anybody surprised by this, right? To answer this Congresswoman's question, yeah, Democrats have lost their minds, right? They absolutely have lost their minds, which is why the Biden administration is doing this, okay? Is anybody surprised that the Biden administration is trying to amend Title IX to protect biological males competing against biological females in sports, which by definition would basically reverse the progress that was made when the legislation was enacted in the first place, right? Which was to protect women, okay? To give women equal rights, okay? But again, see, this is what we're talking about. Whether it comes to this conversation when we're talking about gender or race, progressivism is regressivism in disguise, okay? I just did a video earlier today about how Portland schools are treating kids differently based off their race or their sexual identity or their gender identity or whatever, right? They're treating kids differently. They're saying, look, we're going to punish kids based off of their race, which by definition is racism, right? It's Jim Crow, okay? It is regressing us back when we did not have civil rights for everybody. And again, lo and behold, when it comes to this conversation, right, about gender and, biological males competing against biological women in sports, Democrats are trying to regress us back to when women didn't have all their rights. Again, it's absolutely amazing how that works. Absolutely amazing how the most progressive administration ever is the most regressive administration ever at the same damn time. This is the modern day Democrat Party, which is the same party, right, that were against women's rights, and they were pro Jim Crow, right? They were against rights for black people too, right? So nobody should be surprised that these people are so desperate to go back to their glory days when women had less rights and when we treated people differently based off their race. Again, nobody should be surprised by this, because this is who the Democrats have been, and this is who they are today. This is who they always were. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.